Hey guys, welcome back. My name's and this week I'm recreating Ed Sheeran's Cross Me effect. Let's get started. Drag and create a new comp using the footage of someone's face. Go to the effects panel and search for levels and drop this onto the clip. I'm going to have a play with the levels to create a contrast between the face and the background so that the face stands out more. Back in the effects panel, search for tritone and drag and drop this onto the layer. Here I'm going to change the mid-tone color to blue to something similar to the video and hit OK. Let's now add a new solid by going to Layer, New, Solid, and we'll change the color to a darkish grey and hit OK. Go back to the effects panel and type radio waves and drag and drop this onto the solid. Now this step isn't really needed, but it adds some nice effect to the background. On the radio waves effect, click on the producer button and center it to the person's face. Change the frequency to 0.6 and the expression to 5.4. I'm going to change the color to red and the start width to 100 and the end width as close to 0 as possible. When you go through the timeline now, you'll see the waves get bigger over time. Back in the effects panel, type fast blur and add this to the layer and change it to 57. Make sure you click on repeat edge pixels at the bottom, otherwise it will remove the end waves before it should. Duplicate the footage layer and draw a mask around the face. This is to place the face in front of the waves. It doesn't have to be perfect, just close-ish to the face. Feather the mask out by hitting F on the keyboard. This will bring up the mask's feather property and feather the mask out. I'm going to do it to 100. Next, place any analog or static footage that can be found online and place it on top and change the blend mode here to screen. Duplicate the layer by hitting Command-Control-D on the keyboard. On the second layer, hit R on the keyboard on this layer and rotate this clip by 180 degrees. Let's go to the effects panel and type invert. Drag and drop this onto the top layer and change the blend mode for this to multiply to make it darker than the previous layer. Finally, change both layers' opacity to 8%. Go back to the project window and drag and drop the pre-comp we were currently working on to create a new comp. Then right-click, New, Camera. From here you can use a few different cameras, but I'm going to stick with the default 35mm. So the key to this effect is really only one tool. In the effects panel, type card dance and drag and drop this onto the footage. Here, change the gradient layer 1 and 2 to the pre-comp footage and then change the Z position source to intensity 1. In the settings at the top, you can have a play with the rows and columns to get the effect that you want, but I'm going to change my rows to 200 and column to 300 and offset to 0.6. Go to the X and Y scale and change them both to 0.7. We can see this effect working. What's happening is, if you zoom in, you can see the effect is making the white area cards bigger and the dark area cards smaller, giving it a 3D effect. Okay, stick with me here because everything's going to go black. In the settings at the bottom, change the camera system to comp camera and open lighting and change to first comp light. Change the light depth to 0 and finally in materials, light sharpen, change to 20. We now need a light in the scene to bring back the effect. Right click and select new light. From here, select point light and hit OK. We'll need to move this back in Z space and place this at the top on the person's head. Click on the layer and hit P. This will bring up the positions, allowing you to move it. Now it's time to bring out the highlights. I'm going to solo this layer so I can only see this layer. Duplicate the footage and go into the settings and change the X scale to offset to 0.2. But I had a bit of a play. Go into the effects panel and type fast blur and add the layer. I'm going to change the setting to 30 and then add a gradient ramp from the effects panel. Here I'm going to bring the blue color back in and move the start and end points of the ramp to each end of the footage like this. And change the blend mode to add and desolo it. We're almost there. Go back to the project panel and create a new comp from the last pre-comp. Place the original footage underneath this and change the blend mode of the pre-comp to add. Hit T on the keyboard to bring up the opacity and bring it down. You can keyframe this in and out, like the video, or you can even add a mask to the layer like this. And guess what? You're done. This week's a bit different, guys. It's a bit longer. Let me know what you think about it. As always, thanks for everything, guys. Hit the like and subscribe button, and I'll see you next week.